Somebody says, where do you write? Now, a lot of authors will have this study where they will always go, and it's usually a room loaded with books, things that they can draw inspiration from. I'm surrounded by books because I am a writer and I am writing a book, and that's where it goes. I mean, Norman Mailer rented a house to write this one particular novel because the setting just inspired him so much. A lot of us don't have the means to do that. If you do, more power to you. I write where I'm comfortable. I will usually be right here at this table, here in my kitchen. That's where I like to write. But there were other places where I have done some of my best writings, and I remember them very well. And maybe someday they will be entered into the Register of Historic Places, and a little brass plaque will be there, like the Lindbergh Motel, which is a little too late to be entered into the Registry of Historic Places because it's about 3/4 torn down. But I can still spot the room that I was staying in when I wrote the very opening lines of my first spy novel, Dangerous Gambles. I was sitting there on a sunny summer day, and I was really frustrated because this was about the 9th time I was trying to write the darn thing. And this is after having not written a novel in about 4 years. And I just sat down and I said, on a sunny summer day in 1978, the whole world went to hell. And that started it. And I ended up writing a series based on that. And when I wrote my history book, which was an anecdotal history of my hometown in Burke, Vermont, I remember where I was when I sat down and finally figured out after 35 years how I wanted to do it. And that was at the bar of an airport lounge in Tucson, Arizona, as I was coming back from having a table and a booth at the Tucson Festival of Books. And I remember sitting down and working out a whole bunch of things and coming up with an idea for a whole new novel, sitting at the bar in an airport lounge in New Orleans. And I could understand why, after having gotten so much inspiration from several hurricanes, why Hemingway and Faulkner and a few others enjoyed libations while they were writing. Not that I am necessarily encouraging the development of vice or such, bad habits, but a little bit will help get the creative juices flowing, at least in my case and in theirs. The point is, wherever there's a spot where you can relax, where you can let go, where you can surrender to your imagination and your creativity, that's where you can find a write. J.K. Rowling, she needed Wi-Fi. She was a single mom and she was flat broke. She took her kids to a coffee shop. She would buy a cup of coffee and she would sit and she wrote, and she churned out the very first Harry Potter book. And then the series just went from there. And that's the point. It's great to have this nice, quiet study with a clutter-free desk, shelves and shelves of books, maybe a cat or a loyal dog sleeping in front of the fire, perfect view of the ocean or the mountains, depending on your preference. But guess what? Unless you've already established yourself as a successful author or successful in some other career where you can afford that, you're going to have to work at a bar at an airport lounge. You're going to have to work at a coffee shop. You're going to have to work at your kitchen table. You're going to have to work anywhere that you can sit down and write. Be as creative in finding a place to write as in finding something to write about. Because this whole process is an adventure.